Yep. Still here. Same day, different video. We got more for you. It doesn't stop. Yeah. What's going on, family? Man, I hope you guys are having an absolutely wonderful day. I am losing my mind. Yep, Illinois Motors, man. Lots of great toys here, guys. Listen, you name it, they got it. You name it, they got it. I know this guy is new. I'm gonna probably have to show you some information, share something on this one. That guy is new. We haven't seen that one here before. We're definitely gonna have to share some information on that. Let me tell y'all real quickly about this guy before we get into all of it. This guy right here, and we're gonna give you a review of this one. Not right now though. 392 Hemi swap, 0 miles on it when it was swapped, crate motor, and it's a 6-speed. We got more to give you guys. Look at this saline, super nasty. But today, at least on this video, guys, we're gonna be sharing something very rare, very rare. Not a one of one, but very close, one of two. Y'all ain't ready for this. And where we at, man? Illinois Motors, my buddy. Yep, here with him. So listen, guys, give me a second while we get this beautiful car out ready for you guys. You want? Okay.
Purchase your tracks today.
Yeah, I agree. It's popping. We're gonna pull this out so you guys can get more. All right.
Young Shy B. Purchase your tracks today. Young Shy Beats. Young Shy Beats. Purchase your tracks today. Young Shy Beats. Purchase your tracks today. Young Shy Beats. Purchase your tracks today. Young Shy Beats. Purchase your tracks today.
I'm going to leave these on for a bit because they look pretty cool.
Yes.
What we have here today is a 2008 Dodge Viper ACR, and this is in Viper Violet. This is one of 2 cars ever painted for the year without stripes.
Oh my.
So this is a one of 2
God.
specification. These are exceedingly rare. You thought the ACR Extreme that everyone knows and loves was rare. These are very rare.
One
This is a Gen 4.
of 2 Gen 4
Yeah.
ACR Viper.
Yes, sir.
Now, guys, if you've seen on the last video we were looking at the R8. Love the R8. I love the R8. ACR Vipers. Vipers.
Vipers.
Tim loves Vipers.
Yeah,
He
I never
likes
thought
this
I would.
rough, rugged, spine-tingling cars that just shake and rattle your whole body. It's a race car.
Yeah.
It's a race car.
You'd be surprised how streetable they are. You just have to kind of get used to their little nuances and kind of how tight it is. I've learned that, like, the way I comfortably drive a Viper is the arm out the window.
Yeah.
And you realize how much more room there is than
Okay,
you think.
yeah.
This is probably among the tighter ones. Like the Gen 5s I can fit in pretty well. This is definitely tighter because the seats are so much more like cushiony.
Really?
Like, there's a lot of padding on the seats.
Nice. Oh,
And,
see, I didn't know that about
yeah.
this guy.
Right. And the Gen 5s are a lot more slimmed down, still comfortable, but you know, this is actually surprisingly forgiving as far as the seats go. But yeah, the rest of it, maybe not so much.
Now, one thing I could tell you about Illinois Motors, they have a lot of Vipers. I was walking around counting, and guys, I didn't even give you an accurate number yesterday.
I think we have 11,
yeah,
maybe.
Because we got one on the rack, one, that's two over here, three right here. We got 4, 5, 6, and how many on the showroom?
3, so that would be 9. We had the yellow RT10, which sold, so that was 10. So we have 10.
10.
Well, we have 9.
9 Vipers.
Yeah.
One location.
We have another one coming in.
I think this is why Tim works here.
I did not. You know, it's kind of funny. I got this job, and I had no seat time in a Viper. I actually had.
Are you serious?
I'm sorry. That's kind of a lie. I had seat time in an ACR.
Okay.
Just for like 5 minutes.
Okay.
And I wasn't entirely nuanced in the car. It was like 32 degrees outside. This really cool guy that we know locally, he threw me keys at a photo shoot that someone invited me to. He's like, take it down the street.
Really?
I'm like, really? So I took it down the street. I'm like, this is actually not that hard. I mean, it definitely, I almost experienced snake bite because in first gear, because it was so cold out, it just spun right through the gear.
God.
But it spun in place. It didn't
even go anywhere.
No. It was really tractable. I didn't really get a lot of time to like dig into it though, until we got a snakeskin green, or not snakeskin. Why am I? Striker green 2014 SRT Viper came in this building. I had a considerable amount of seat time with that. I took it to a bunch of events that weekend, and I fell in love with Vipers ever since because I just thought they were amazing. Everything about the car is a beautiful reminder of what we're losing.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
because it's truly is a very barbaric powertrain. It's a crass powertrain. It's a 6-speed chunky 6-speed manual and a 8.4 liter V10. And in this car, it makes 560 pound-feet of torque and 600 horsepower.
Oh my God!
So it's
you described this car absolutely perfectly, in my opinion. And let's not forget that it has lines and curves and bumps, and it's a very, very sexy car with the lines and the curves and length and the height, and it gives you so much visually. It's a classic car. It's an iconic car. When you see them, I don't know anyone that has ever seen this car say they don't like it. This Vipers just has a feel. They're gonna grab your attention. It was, if I'm not mistaken, was considered one of the first American exotic cars.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And it's just, it lives up to its name over and over and over again. and then over again, all right? So when they came out with the ACR package of this car, it took it to the next level. Now you're talking an absolute race car on the street, right? So your experience with that 14 snake bite, spinning those tires, that's a great example of, well, the car is meant for way more than what it was, the environment it was in at the time.
That was in a Gen 5, not ACR, didn't have, any aero. It was just a really standard car. It had really good options as far as like the interior amenities, but no like aero to stable things out.
Did they have any work done to it at the
no,
one
it was
that you
bone
was in?
stock.
Really?
It was a bone stock car, and it had a lot of miles, so that's why because we had a confidence that the spec would sell itself.
Yeah.
I had talked to our owner.
No. I'm thinking about the one that you drove on the street.
Yeah,
The first one you drove.
The first one I drove, yeah. So you said the 14 was a snake bite. I got snake bit in the 17 ACR. So yeah. So
I'm just saying it you can't make it up.
yeah. So did not have a single problem with the 14. I drove it. It was so fantastic. I never thought I would love it. I was super intimidated, and I was very frustrated when I would get into RPM and a gear change the gear wouldn't feel like it was exactly where it was.
Yeah.
And that car had some miles, so it might have needed a trans mount or something like that. And I was getting so frustrated. But then when I learned that the way Vipers work is you don't take half measures with it. You're either all or nothing.
See, that's why you figured out the secret, man. That's exactly why.
And even if you are going full, if you're not taking anything off, you do have to be prepared for those moments where the chassis is like, you know what? I don't feel like any traction is going to be upon the rear wheels today. So
I think that's a lot of cars that sit in this realm, that sit with this height, that sit at this stance, that may be running these type of tires, and depending on the environment, these tires are like skates.
Yeah.
Like today, they will be skates.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely rainy and snowy out, but I was actually impressed. I drove the 14 in the rain, and it was very safe. And it had a pretty, a mildly aggressive tire on it, because tires do matter the most.
Tires mean everything
at the end of the day, but
especially on these cars. And again, when you put these cars in particular conditions, you can learn the hard way what they can and cannot do. For real. Bringing my car home from the dealership, it was, when I picked my car up, it was 50, I think it was like 50 degrees maybe. And I spun the crap out of those tires at 74 miles an hour. Get on it, and the tires just cut loose. So these things can remind you just what they're capable of, depending on the conditions. They can remind you just what they can do, without a doubt.
For sure.
Man, tell me some more about this car. This thing is just
It's a really clean car, clean facts, no stories. It's got 28,000 miles, so it has been driven and it's been used, which is actually kind of optimal for something like this.
Yeah, you don't drive it, it breaks.
Yeah. There's a lot of, you can have corrosion with rubber lines. You can have all kinds of issues. This is a driver. It starts, all the time, and the spec is the driving point here. This color is just crazy town. I mean, it doesn't really get much more crazy than this purple. It's extremely desirable.
It's beautiful, man.
Very, very desirable color.
It is absolutely just beautiful.
Yeah. And this was believed to be the swan song end of Vipers.
Right.
This, in 2010, they said they were no longer making the Viper.
I remember that. And
I believe this chassis is extremely related, if not the same as the Gen 5. It could be completely wrong about that. But a lot of the things are very similar as far as the door, the actuator is the identical position, and things like that. And that would be something that wouldn't change if you use the same chassis. And Dodge knows a thing or two about using the same chassis, aka the Challenger, the Charger, the 300. So you got
closing that all the way.
No half measures.
Right.
With anything in this
with
car,
everything.
No half measures.
You gave me that warning, and I didn't adhere.
Yeah.
This thing, beautiful, man.
Yeah. And this is kind of in that sort of I wouldn't say controversial. To most people, a Viper should have a clamshell hood or a folding forward hood. This is part of Gen 4 and Gen 3 architecture. So the hood actually opens normally like a regular car hood.
Really?
Except the position is not normal.
Oh, I was about to ask about the hood.
Yeah.
Because
I'm just gonna make sure we don't have a dead Viper.
Yeah.
I'm gonna turn the lights off here. So there's no under the dash thing, and the Gen 2 Vipers are at the top of the grill. And
Are you serious?
and
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and the Gen 5 Vipers, they stick them here, so you got to pull the little latch here, and it comes forward.
No, I didn't know that.
This one,
I'm being educated, guys.
education.
Learn me, learn me.
There's a handle right here, and this is probably the easiest handle out of all of them. That's
Wow.
it. So early on in the Gen 5 Vipers, there was theft issues because of how once people figured out where it is, you could just
So easy to get into them.
Exactly. There you are.
It is so long under here, man.
Yeah. This is going away. I mean, it's already gone.
God.
This is. I love this engine. It's disgusting. It's beautiful. Don't get me wrong, but everything about it is like monsterly and just ridiculous.
Brutal.
Yeah. You don't really feel horsepower in this car. You feel torque.
Torque. Yeah, I figured that as much. God, this thing is so beautiful. Yeah, it is when I think about it, man, that feeling that you have when something you love is going away. Stuff like this, they're going to be very, very rare, very rarities.
For sure.
And as we keep them and take care of them, they last as long as they are. But for those that get them and tear them up, that's just one more gone out of the history books, man.
Hey, props to people who drive them, though. I mean, they're machines.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, they're supposed to be driven.
Yeah, agreed.
There's definitely a fine line between abuse and
agreed.
Drivers'
That's
cars.
the other side of that. That's the other
this
side
is one
of
of those cars. This isn't a beautiful point in its life, this specific car, because this can be truly a collector because of its spec.
Mhm.
It's a one of two.
One
It's
of
a true
two.
one of two car. And the color is super desirable, so it's always going to have a premium for this color. And it's also at a point you just keep driving it.
Yeah.
And you can enjoy maintaining your equity in the car.
Yeah. That's
That is
right.
a huge
It's
thing.
still
It's
a
like
one
we
of
were
two.
talking about with the R8.
Yeah.
Is for me, enjoying cars is about maintaining equity in them.
Yeah.
And not getting absolutely murdered on depreciation. This is a fantastic decision. This is at that point where you can go either way.
That's a great point. You're absolutely correct.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that with this guy. You can still drive this and share it with people. I mean, that's the reason why I go to car shows. It's an opportunity to share these things with people. I usually go to car shows, and those who bring them out, I always tell them thank you, right? Because they can literally take these things and hide them away from the world and try to collect money tomorrow for them. But they take them out and they share them with us. To me, that's a thank you needed to be shared with that individual. Thank you for sharing your car with us, man. And this one here would be one of those cars. I would take this thing out.
Yeah.
I would drive it. There's nothing about this that says it needs to be a trailer queen one or a garage queen.
Right.
I would keep it clean,
Mm-hmm.
but I would want to share it with the world. This thing would be driven. I would be all over the place in this thing.
Right. Me too.
Oh my
Me
God,
too.
man.
I look, it's heavy in places that it shouldn't be. It's a little bit frustrating to get taken, to take off because some people complain about the gearing is too long. But the thing that makes cars like this so special is how different they are from everything else. This is a genuinely different experience. And that's what is so special about cars, at least cars of the past. We're getting into a generation of cars where it's going to be all skateboard chassis, electric vehicles. And there's nothing wrong with those cars. I actually think they're really impressive. Like I was just telling him earlier off camera, we have Tesla Model X. I think we got a sale pending on it right now, but it is a really impressive car. And I called it an appliance because it is an appliance.
Right.
It's not something that really moves me. And even though the Tesla has done so much to kind of amplify the excitement with the gull-wing doors and the crazy light shows,
Giving you the user experience,
for
right?
Sure. And for me, that would be a fantastic daily. I love every Model X I've driven. For me to have an appliance go A to B, that is such a great car. This is when I want to turn the world off. The phone goes away, and I'm just thinking about 6,200 RPM and
sometimes no music because you want to hear the exhaust.
Right.
That is the experience I get in Zeus.
Yeah.
That is that moment. I don't need music. I don't want any, if I have the top off, I got the top off. Let me cruise and enjoy the exhaust. It is the best sound in the world.
This is a car that you can kind of enjoy on a let me just say like people seeing this might be like, oh, ridiculous car, or they love it because it's so ridiculous. So one of the things that's really nice about Vipers is it's it's all vibrations. It's all
Yeah.
deep tones.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
when you enjoy this car,
It's a sensation.
you're not really bothering anyone because it's not. This dumps out right below the same angle as your head.
Yes.
So you hear that and you feel that exhaust, and it's just super exciting. And you're not really bothering anybody. Like I remember giving people rides in the Gen 5 Viper that we had, and they were like, "It's really quiet from the outside. I can barely hear you pull up." And then they're in it. It's just Shake City. There's so many vibrations, and it's overwhelming.
It's all the sensations.
It's super mechanical.
All
and,
the sensations.
I can't get enough of these cars, as you can tell.
I love your energy, man, and I
Yeah.
love how you talk about it, because I think it shows again, car guys, man. We are car guys. It shows the passion and the love that we have for these vehicles, and sometimes people need to feel that energy of what it's like to be on the other side of that. Some things you cannot express with words, right? I can't explain to you what it's gonna feel like the first time I pull Zeus out after being in store. I can't tell you what it's gonna feel like to get that thing started the first time. I can't tell you what it feels like the first time you driven this thing, or that first time when you figured it out.
That was when the turning point was.
Right?
I was very scared, and I was very frustrated, and I was kind of not vibing with it.
Right.
And then you find your rhythm.
Right.
And you find the rhythm.
Right.
Because to me, there's only one way you drive these cars. And it's, like I said, no half measures. And once you figure that out, they're excellent. They're unbelievable.
And
you
see,
start
that's
to
the
forget
point.
about those little things.
You can't explain that. You can share that emotion with driving. You can show it in facial expressions.
Mhm.
You can probably try to describe it, which will leave out the feeling, the audible sounds that you hear and how those things make you feel. The vibration, not just in the seat, in your fingertips, on your foot when you're pressing the gas, on your back when you're sitting in the car and the seat is hugging you. There's so many different things that happen when you're turning, and how it feels to feel completely planted in the vehicle. You can never put it in words the way you want to. People have to experience those things, right?
Absolutely.
And when we have an opportunity to share, and this is one of the reasons why I'm here, sharing cars with people so that they can see them, especially if it's something that they're interested in acquiring. This is a place where you can get something like this realistically and own it and drive it and enjoy it and share it with other people, right? Of course, the weather is horrible right now. It's just not the time for anything like this. I don't know that just to take this car out around the block.
We are coming up very quickly in good weather.
Yeah, we getting there. And once we get to better weather, then we can have an opportunity so you guys can get the other sensation or the other experience of these cars. Not just the visual, not just the interior, right? But to see what it looks like from the cockpit, driving on the road, explaining you some of those experiences and those emotions and those feelings and sensations that happen of being in, driving and being inside these cars while we're on the road and letting the world see them while you're out there. But when you get it,
you get it.
My God, this thing is absolutely gorgeous. Let's get the inside, guys.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
All right. So you're not a small guy. I'm not a small guy. We're not small men.
No, not at all. And this is most of these cars, man, they sit in a place where you fit in them snugly. And it's purpose, right? It's not just because they want it to be uncomfortable. But when you're in this car, you're supposed to feel like you're one with the car, at one with the car. Race cars, you got to be at one with them, right? So you can feel how the tires feel on the road. It's amazing how when you're there, you can feel the sensation on what happens when you hit the brakes and how the car moves, shifts when you turn, when you accelerate, how it lifts up and picks up. When you get into a corner, how you want to pat that brake just to get them tires to stick in the front before you dive into a corner. All those little bitty different sensations are important. So when you're in a snug car, you get that feeling of being one with the car, right? And it's tight in here, guys.
The cost is
it's tight, but
what about that seat though? It doesn't have a lot of cushion.
Oh my God! Felt like I'm sitting in the 300 all over again. The seat is super comfortable, man.
Yeah, once you're in.
This car is absolutely awesome. I'm gonna be honest with you. So I'm gonna still always have that little feeling. Vipers try to beat these things are violent. they violent. Just they're beating you up on suspension. They're beating you up when you hit the gas. These things are just violent, right? And again, I've never had enough seat time in a Viper to say I get it. Like Tim gets it. He understands how this thing moves, work, feel. He's at one with it now. I don't know if I'll ever get there, but I'm gonna tell you, this little short shifter, all the gauges that you need that's in this car, the 220 on the dash, red line at 6,000. This is not a punk of a car, man. Got an aftermarket Alpine radio. The seats are, I can't even put into words how comfortable these seats are.
That's the catch, isn't it? It's like everything's so hardcore and heavy, and the seats are like
You get in
super
it,
padded.
I'm telling you, I feel like I'm in the 300.
Yeah. You know that there was, you know, it's crazy. This isn't even the most hardcore of the ACR for this year. You could get something called the hardcore pack, which
Are you serious?
deletes the radio, it deletes the AC, and I think you get trimmer seats. Yeah.
So you get like almost race style seats.
Yeah, and I just think the
Kind
padding
of like
is
what's in
reduced.
that dunk on
Oh, the GTR.
the GTR.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far. That's full blown race.
Oh, what about that one, the blue GTR?
That one's got like street seats in it. So
Does it? I thought
yeah.
it had the
No. You're thinking of the Mustang that we just sold.
the Mustang.
Yeah,
Had the
yeah,
carbon fiber
yeah.
seats. Okay.
Yep.
No, this thing is super comfortable. I cannot explain you how comfortable it is to be sitting right here. It feels so nice. I can absolutely enjoy driving this car like all day, minus the spine jarring experience that
Yeah.
you get from the experience of driving this car. This thing feels so nice sitting here right now.
I don't know about you, but would you want a Viper any other way? Wouldn't
No.
exactly be a Viper, would it?
It wouldn't be a Viper.
Yeah.
No, it would not be a Viper. It is what it is. It's meant to be this and to do what it does. And honestly, no, you couldn't.
Yeah.
You take away that hard ride from this car, you got a vet.
Yep.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Now you got a Corvette. Corvette does offer the option, but especially with the Mag Ride, and you can have a ride that feels like this. But most people don't want to ride like that all the time. They want to switch it over and it feels like a Cadillac. But this thing, with the creature comforts that it has in it and amenities that are just enough for this type of car, yeah, other than getting it through the driving experience, I get it from sitting right here.
Yeah.
I get it from sitting right here. Guys, this is definitely actually much easier to get out than the vet. This is one. This is one, guys. Listen.
Oh, then we got to move that 392 Jeep. We got to pull the semi truck around.
Listen, guys. We don't do the normal around here, man. And my guy Tim has been helping me show you guys these beautiful vehicles, man, at Illinois Motors, because they don't do the norm around here, man.
I can pull this forward.
Why is that, man? They were designed from greatness, bro, just like we were. Because we were designed for greatness, you have the right, the responsibility, the authority to never be average. So, guys, don't be average. Yeah.